Ooh, welcome to episode 67 of Two Guys, One Sport. My name is Chris. I had to pause there for a second because I couldn't quite even remember what episode we were on because we've been doing this thing forever. But welcome.
Hi, may we keep doing it forever, brother Chris. How are you?
Yes, we may. We may indeed.
We should.
I'm doing all right. How are you? How was your week been so far?
My week was great. Katie and I got drunk and we saw Skyscraper. Do you want my quick and dirty Skyscraper review?
I didn't even notice what Skyscraper is, so please hit me.
It's a movie with The Rock.
Oh, that one!
Where he's like in a skyscraper. It's Die Hard with The Rock.
Die Hard with The Rock.
It's great. I was drunk, and it's great. I'm sure those two facts are intrinsically intertwined.
Yeah, indeed. Those are guaranteed related.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where, like, if you've ever seen a movie, you know the dialogue as the character's about to say it. Especially
if you've never seen any movie ever.
Yeah, especially at the beginning, like before the skyscraper catches on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like reciting the dialogue, and Katie's like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "I've watched a lot of bad movies in my day." My best friend used to manage a Blockbuster Video, Skypoint.
Oh,
so I've watched a lot of bad movies in my day. The Rock was in it. He didn't rock bottom anybody, so I was severely disappointed.
Automatic loss.
Lot of tropes. Like there was a kick-ass bad girl, like a bad guy girl. So obviously Mrs. The Rock would be the one to have to fight her because that's how action movies work. Mrs. The Rock, by the way, Nev Campbell, like out of the acting grave.
What the?
That's what I said.
Wow.
Where did that Nev come from? And I'm like, it is Nev Campbell.
Holy crap!
One of the little kids had asthma, so he was my homeboy because I also have asthma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Once the building caught on fire, it was good. I mean, it was fun. It wasn't good. Let's not be too hasty.
Yeah, let's not make assumptions here.
Fast paced and it get no rock bottoms though. So I don't know. I mean, it was an action movie and I was lit. Like, what do you want from me? You know?
Yeah.
It was literally Die Hard. The bad guy was like from Europe, had a Scandinavian accent. You know, and The Rock was just an everyman. He had like a prosthetic leg and. You know, and he's trying to rescue the people in the skyscraper and blah, blah, blah. And, you know.
Perfect.
So, yeah. It was, you know how we sometimes say they had a match?
Yep.
Like so-and-so and so-and-so had a match.
You had a movie.
Yeah, I had a movie. The Rock and Mrs. The Rock, Nev Campbell had a movie. You know, but whatever. It's fine. You know, whatever. Fine. Great. Good movie to get drunk and go to.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how was your week?
My week has actually been really good. You know how normally on Wednesdays I normally go up to my company's office in New York and work out of there. Apparently that is no longer going to be a thing, at least not with any degree of regularity, because they don't need me up there anymore, which is pretty freaking awesome.
That's good. So, then you can stay in New Jersey.
Yep, I can stay in New Jersey, not have to expend half a tank of gas, and not have to spend $32 in tolls. I'm all of which are things that I am in favor of.
And not have to feel your life force oozing away as you're sitting there on whatever bridge and or tunnel you were on. Two bridges.
I mean, although actually, I will say this. The Goethals Bridge, the newly reconstructed Goethals Bridge that takes you from New Jersey to Staten Island and vice versa, is actually very nice. It is now, instead of being 2 lanes on each side, it is 4 lanes on each side.
And twice the lane.
Moves at quite a nice clip, and it actually, looks like a bridge rather than looking like something made out of really poorly rusted erector set, which is cool. The Verrazano Bridge, on the other hand, makes me want to shove a sharp stick into my throat, because the Verrazano Bridge, or the Very Long-O, as a former friend of mine liked to say, is always terrible. I don't know why, but it is always terrible. So
I don't want you to shove sharp sticks in anywhere, especially your throat.
Yeah, it's 2-mile long bridge that connects Staten Island to the Long Island landmass. Now, most people will tell you it's not Long Island, it's Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is
it's the island. It's the island of Long Island.
Yeah,
right?
it is all part of the same landmass. Get over it, borough residents. Queens and Brooklyn are on Long Island. Get over yourselves.
I mean, anybody past the age of 2nd grade who's looked at a map can tell you that.
Yeah, and
except these hipster fucks.
Yeah, seriously. The Verrazano is not a great bridge, but thankfully I don't have to drive over anymore. It's also the most expensive bridge. It's $1,750 to drive over the Verrazano.
God.
Now that's all. That's
$17.50.
Granted, you only have to pay the toll when you are going from the Long Island side to the Staten Island side, but it is still $17.50. Like, why the fuck?
Yeah, I'm good.
Pay that? Yeah.
I'm good, man.
I would almost. I would almost. This is a very big almost, but I would almost rather just drive all the way through Brooklyn, take the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan, bear my way through Manhattan traffic, and get over to the Holland Tunnel and get back to New Jersey that way. Almost.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Oh,
no matter what.
Oh, that's even worse. Trust me, that's even worse.
My commute is a mile walk and a train ride. It takes 45 minutes. Life is good.
Oh yeah, my commute to and from my main office is a 30 to 40-minute drive straight down Route 109. So
that's good.
Can't complain.
That's very good.
And I will take that. I will take that and I will run with it.
As well you should.
Just like we are going to take and run our matches of the week right down the field and deliver them to your front door.
I like it. Right into the end zone.
Terrible segue, but whatever.
That's okay. No, right into the end zone. Football season.
We're running with it.
The Bears open training camp today, so football season is here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know when the Eagles are opening training camp.
Well, the Bears are in that Hall of Fame game that sucks. So they got to start a week early.
Yeah.
So
nice. All right. But yeah, let's run into it.
Sure.
I'm actually gonna start this week.
By all means.
We are continuing Joshi July. And as promised, I have a match for you, a classic Joshi match, as it were. Now, I need to run out some names here that you may or may not be familiar with. I'm hoping that you are, though. Have you ever heard the name Manami Toyota by any chance?
Yeah, she's one of the best wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
Male or female.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've all Japan women's stalwart from the 90s, right? Yeah, even I, Mr. Joshi ignorant, have heard of Miami Toyota.
Yep,
she's really great.
Yep, and I would assume you have also heard the name Aja Kong.
Yes, she's also really great.
Yep, probably the best Haas of all time. 47 years old, still kicking the fuck out of people.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So we're going to go back to the year 1994.
Okay.
24 years ago from this.
Do we have a sound effect for when we jump in the Wayback Machine?
I wish we did. This is literally the only thing that I wish we could go back to, that horrible New Day versus whatever the fuck Simon Gotch needed English's tag teams, the Vaudevillains. This is the only thing I ever wish we could go back to, the Vaudevillains versus New Day feud for, was that one Time Machine segment, which had a hilarious Kofi Kingston line of, "No, 2009 was my best year, leave me here." That was the only good part of that segment, that and the Time Machine sound. If we had that would be perfect. But we're going to go back 24 years to November 20th, 1994.
Are we watching All Japan Women?
We are watching All Japan's Women's Pro Wrestling.
That makes me happy.
Emanating from the Tokyo Dome, no less.
That makes me very happy.
To witness a singles match. Just a straight-up singles match. No belt on the line, no title, no prize, no nothing. Just pride.
I was about to say, the prize is who's the better person.
A match between Aja Kong and Manami Toyota. This is 24 years ago. So this was Aja Kong at the fresh young age of 23. And God, how old is Manami Toyota now? How old is she? That's a good question. Let me look that up right now.
Sure, go for it.
Also at the fresh young age of 23 as well.
Huh.
Two young 23-year-old stars already.
Two young whippersnappers.
Yep. Already stars, though, in their own rights. Now, I will tell you this. Early 90s Joshi, reckless as fuck. This match is not for the faint of heart. If you care about people's overall health and well-being. These two dropped each other on their heads several times.
It's like early 90s New Japan and All Japan.
Yeah.
And Big Japan.
Yeah. This is before we knew better.
And
obviously.
Frontier Martial Arts.
Yeah. But obviously, before we knew better. But holy fuck, this match is so good. Shithead Dave gave this match 5 stars. Rightfully so. Most people give this match a perfect rating. Rightfully so. I'm not going to give the blow-by-blow detail of it because, honestly, I could not do this match justice if I was to try and go blow-by-blow for it. All I will tell you is that by, like, the midway point of the match, the entire Tokyo Dome was chanting Manami Toyota's name. And these two women displayed moves and psychology and intensity that the women of WWE today could only dream of. Only dream of. Like the point in the match that really like made me sit up on my chair and go, holy shit. At one point, you know how Ember Moon does that thing where she like jumps, hits the middle rope with her feet, rebounds, and back elbows somebody?
Yeah. That springboard thingy.
Yeah, springboard thing.
Yeah.
At one point in the match, Manami Toyota's running the ropes, and she jumps and springboards off the top rope with one leg and hits a cutter on Aja Kong. And then, now, this was probably about 5 minutes into the match. Now, you've seen Rusev do the Accolade.
Yeah. Saw it on Sunday.
Imagine, if you will, if Rusev did the Accolade, but instead of sitting back on the small of his opponent's back, he just sat all the way back onto the ring floor and bent their back up even further. And then, to add insult to injury, used one hand to grab the heel of his opponent's foot, tuck it into the crook of his elbow, and then readjust to grab the neck, grab the chin again, and then do the same thing with his other hand to the other leg, and then sit back again. That's what Aja Kong did to Manami Toyota at about the 7-minute point mark of this match. And this match went for, I want to say, close to 20 minutes, if not over 20 minutes. This is, without a doubt, one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. And there's a reason why it's considered one of the best women's matches of all time. It is stellar in every sense. Most women in the modern day professional wrestling age could only dream of putting on a match this well designed.
It's a little bit of an unfair standard. It's 2 of the 8 best women's wrestlers of all time in their primes in front of a rabid crowd. I mean, the circle of events doesn't get much more perfect for a wrestling match than this.
Oh, certainly. But all the same, even with that kind of a perfect circle of events, I would never expect Sasha and Bayley to put on a match like this. Not even in their NXT days. I would not even expect... I would have a hard time expecting Io Shirai and Kairi Sane to put on a match like this. This match was riveting. And you need to watch it. You need to find it and you need to watch it.
Okay.
Because the psychology of watching young and energetic upstart Manami Toyota trying to tear down and destroy the unstoppable brute that was Aja Kong. And it still is Aja Kong, by the way. And just being foiled at every turn and never, ever for a second showing any fear or any doubt in her eyes. And believing at every point that she had that she could do what she needed to in order to win. Overcoming 3 Aja drivers. The Aja Kong spike pile driver. 3 of them. Before she finally could not fight anymore and was pinned 1, 2, 3. Aja Kong wins this match in front of a crowd that was ready to die for Manami Toyota. And it is the stunned silence after the match really just goes to show just how incredible of a match it was. And this is not the bad kind of stunned silence you get from a WWE match where the ending is deflating and makes you hate everything.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. This was the stunned silence of seeing, oh my God, my hero was just defeated by the monster. What do we do now? The combined with the, oh my God, what did I just watch? That was amazing. I can't even put it into words. Simply incredible. Everybody in the chat, find this match. George, find this match. Sure. Watch this match, and you will know why I set such a high standard of women's wrestling and why I care so much about women's wrestling. Because this match, more than almost any other match that I've ever seen, is a sign of what women's wrestling is capable of being. Even with some of the bad decisions that existed in the early 90s, this match shows that women's wrestling is capable of being everything and more of what men's wrestling is. And it's incredible.
You haven't steered me wrong so far.
Indeed. And next week, hopefully I will have one. Not hopefully, I definitely we'll have one more that should go on your must-watch list. Because next week, we're going to talk about probably what I would consider to be the best Joshi match that I have seen so far in 2018.
Ooh, fun.
And a sign of the greatness that is to come. And why I am not concerned about what is going to happen in World Wonder Ring Stardom now that Io Shirai is gone.
Well, I mean, one of the things I've learned during this podcast with you and exposed to Joshi and Stardom in particular is that you don't bet against Rossy Ogawa. So
yeah,
I'm not.
Even though he's a creepy old fuck, and he is a creepy old fuck.
He is in a business,
but don't bet against him.
Unfortunately,
don't bet against him though. He is.
I've learned through you and being exposed to this that the guy knows how to put together a show, and the guy knows how to bring talent up. So,
yeah. All right, what do you got for me?
I have a match from the Wayback Machine as well.
Nice.
30 years ago this week, Bruiser Brody was murdered in Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
And he was killed in a locker room by a guy named Invader who he had an argument with, who was tried but acquitted because Invader was friends with Carlos Colon, and Carlos Colon ran the show in Puerto Rico, and you didn't go against Carlos Colon.
Mm-hmm.
Bruiser Brody bled to death because they were waiting for an ambulance because the ambulance thought it was a work because none of the people in the locker room would help him. He bled to death because he took a bunch of aspirins because back then when you were bleeding in a match, you took a bunch of aspirins because they're blood thinners, you know?
Yep.
So, and because he was stabbed and he had all this aspirin in his system, his blood never coagulated on its own, so he bled out.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a Bruiser Brody match in tribute.
Right.
So I picked Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen against Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr.
Is this the one that you sent the GIF to me and Sal?
It is.
I'm immediately hooked because that looks amazing.
Four big ass white dudes from West Texas. Well, Brody was born in Detroit, but he went to school in West Texas, which is where he met the Funks. So for our intents and purposes, four big white guys in West Texas were super over in All Japan. All Japan Tag League. It was stiff and revolutionary, and the crowd loved him and loved the style. And he's throwing one-legged dropkicks like he's Minoru Suzuki. and Stan Hansen's just wrecking fools because he's Stan Hansen. I mean, you know, if I ever do my long-awaited top 10 list, Stan's like at worst number 2. At worst.
He's your guy. I know he's your guy.
Stan's my guy. Yep. You know? Where was I? And all four guys super over. Stan causing trouble because he's the man. Everything is vicious. Everything has a purpose. Nobody's wasting moves. When these guys lock up, they don't just lock up to lock up. They lock up because that's how you get an advantage.
Yep.
And they're doing like side headlock takeovers, and they're not laying in a headlock for 5 minutes. They're doing it.
They're not doing the Kevin Owens.
No, and they're transitioning to stuff, and everything is mean and angry. And The rules don't matter, and this is just a nasty-ass brawl. And you know what, Chris? The thing you notice about Brody isn't really his moves, which are good. I mean, he was not a stiff, especially for a big man wrestling in the 80s. But you notice his presence. I talk about all the time, you can't take your eyes off certain people. Yep. You couldn't take your eyes off Bruiser Brody.
I believe it, yeah.
He's a great heel in that all you want is Terry Funk to beat the shit out of this guy.
Yep.
And every time Terry makes his comeback, and every time he's throwing those punches and he gets cut off, you're like, damn it, Terry. Why'd you get cut off? It's your brother. Your brother will help you.
Yep.
Just chops and punches and elbows, flying knees. The heat spot, the comeback spot was a vertical suplex because Terry got the monster off his feet and hit him with a vertical suplex. Like, God, I'm loving this shit. People in the back are like jumping up and down. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
These guys don't stop moving,
Yeah.
Terry Funk or Dory Funk and Stan Hansen are having a Walter Chop Fest, and it's great. I love it. the match breaks down.
We love those.
Yeah, you know that. It's great. I love it, love it, love it. The match breaks down with Brody and Hansen hitting Dory repeatedly with a table to his back, like a folded table. So Terry, who had been like dead, comes back from the dead with a chain. The ref tries to stop him from using the chain, but Terry don't care about rules. He's Terry Funk, damn it. Yeah. So he shoves the ref, takes the DQ, starts choking out Stan Hansen. Crowd's loving it, even though they took the DQ. Starts choking out Bruiser Brody. Doesn't matter, even though he took the DQ. He's standing there in the middle of the ring, bleeding, holding the chain up, and everyone around him is dead. Mm-hmm. This match is great. And what made this match super great was Brody was the giant when he had to be. But when it came time to feed Funk for the comeback, Chris, he was more than willing to bump for the guy. Brody was a curmudgeon on his best days, by all accounts. I mean, I never met the man, obviously. But if he respected you, he'd put you over. If he didn't respect you, your check didn't clear, which was all too common back when he was working. He was not to be trifled with. But he respected Terry Funk. So he's like, yeah, Terry, I'll go up for you. Why not? He was ahead of his time. Yep. The big man who could work. And with Stan Hansen, he was great because Stan Hansen's great too. So Brody will miss you, man.
Yep.
Taken from us far too soon. 42, Chris, murdered in a locker room in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Like Sky Point, great man.
This fucking business, man,
Yeah.
Business.
The carny nature of this business, it's really a sad state of affairs, though, when you have to think, was it more carny back then 30 years ago when people were bleeding out in locker rooms because of, not being happy about results or whatever? Or is it more carny now when Vince McMahon is wasting the best roster of all time just to try and prove a point to the Indies and to New Japan?
I think it's more carny now because we should know better.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris.
Yeah.
You owe me one.
Oh, I know I do. You
owe me one.
Oh, I owe you like 7 for this.
You know why?
Because you watched Extreme Rules.
Because I watched Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, my friend. Let me have a drink of water real quick. Let me tell you, my friend. This show was no damn good.
I believe it. I believe it.
Fucking bad.
I believe it.
I watched it.
I read the results. I didn't even read like a recap. Just the results. Yeah. And not even the full results. Yeah. I read the results of about 5 matches. And a couple of tweets here and there about the main event. And so, as soon as I was done reading all that, I said to myself, thank fucking Odin that I did not watch this goddamn travesty of a show.
Let's you want the recap? And then during the recap, I will point out the two big problems with WWE beyond what you're thinking.
Hit me with it, brother. Hit me with it.
When we get to each respective match.
Okay.
Pre-show.
Yeah, let's start on the pre-show.
What?
Let's start on the pre-show, yes.
Andrade Cien Almas versus Sin Cara. Chris, from the main event of TakeOver as NXT champion to the pre-show of a C-tier pay-per-view with 12 matches. It's pretty amazing how far Cien Almas has fallen over the course of this calendar year. He was in a 5-star match in January with Johnny Gargano. January. That's not that long ago, man. January of this year, of 2018.
It would be amazing if it weren't WWE, my friend. That is the real fact of the matter here. That is the real, honest truth.
I'll say this. For a pre-show match, these two did put forth some cool effort. Andrade had a cool spot early where he caught Sin Cara off a dive and threw him into the barricade like he was Cavernario in CMLL. That was cool. I was like, oh, cool. This may be a good show. I was wrong.
No, of course.
Sin Cara does like a weird Hurricane Rana / arm drag to Almas while he's standing on the apron. Almas won. Good match, 8 minutes. Probably the third best match of the show. Yeah. It was fine. I mean, it was an 8-minute match, whatever. This match was perfectly fine. Then we had a table match to start the main show.
No, that was the start of the main show? I thought that this was still a pre-show.
Maybe it was pre-show. I don't know. They kind of
together. According to Wikipedia...
Oh, you're right. It is pre-show. You're right. Pre-show match number 2. New Day versus Sanity. Chris, I was... versus Sanity, not the Sanity. New Day versus Sanity. I was excited for this until it was announced that only one person had to go through the table for the match to end. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, as most table matches in WWE tend to be. Pretty fucking lame.
That's kind of lame. This was fun. Both these, all 6 of these guys worked pretty well together. The finish was pretty flat. I thought the wrestlers were hampered by the stipulation of the match. It should have just been like a tornado tag or like an elimination tornado tag. I mean, kind of a waste of the New Day. And Sanity is, whatever.
Sanity is hampered by their leader, but Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane remain excellent.
Yes, and Eric Young, who's been the worst part of his own stable for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Then we had the beginning of the show. The B team beat Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt for the tag team belt. I'm gonna combine all the B team segments into one, and I'll explain why in a minute. Let's talk about the match itself. Okay. I'm actually glad this opened the show because it allowed me to kind of focus on an issue I have with the B team.
Okay.
I'll admit they have been funny and goofy on Raw and entertaining. The show's 3 hours, and they're a highlight of the show. They do cool backstage stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, man, the bell rings, and they're not very good.
Yeah, at some point, you remember very quickly.
You're like, wait a second. Guys
Curtis Axel is not Mr. Perfect.
No.
And Bo Dallas is not Barry Windham.
Bo Dallas isn't even his brother.
It's not even Windham.
Character work matters in getting the guy over. Don't get me wrong. Character work is crucial, but in-ring quality is the aspect that will make or break you. Match was fine. Too long. 2 stars. Let's move on with our lives. Whatever. Let's talk about a backstage segment that happened about an hour later, okay?
Please.
This is not me bashing Roman Reigns. Okay. Roman Reigns was walking backstage, right? Just getting ready for his match in the backstage area. And the B team comes up to him and says, "Hey, Roman, when you win your match against Bobby Lashley, you can come party with us because we're going to go party because we're the tag team champions." Okay. Roman looks at them and laughs at them. Okay. Let's talk about a few problems here.
I have to laugh at that because it's fucking Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel.
Sure, but here's the issue, though. One, Roman Reigns' entire character portrayal for 6 months has been I lose matches.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, very much so.
These are your tag team champs. If you're not going to take them seriously, why am I taking them seriously?
Yeah.
And if you're going to have comedy goofballs be the champs, then it makes the whole belt look weak.
Yeah, we've been over this before. We have been over this before.
Okay, how is loser Roman Reigns throwing shade at anybody, much less champions in your company? Like, what are we doing here? So.
Yep.
Then we had Finn Balor beating Baron Corbin. Best part of this match. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
The commentary team saying over and over again that Baron Corbin was totally homegrown from the Performance Center. Chris, that doesn't make the Performance Center look good.
No, it
Baron
doesn't.
Corbin is your linchpin.
Oh.
You know? Like, hey guys, this guy's totally homegrown from the Performance Center. He's a Performance Center guy. He sucks. That's like saying, hey guys, this awesome dish I made, this dish I made is my best dish. Yeah, it's undercooked and will get you salmonella, but it's my best dish. It's totally homegrown. You know, it the whole story of this match was Baron Corbin is tall and Finn Balor is small. I hope Daniel Bryan was taking notes backstage because this is your future, man. Because you're also small.
Yeah, well, he's also probably gonna leave. So
yeah, I hope so. Oh, by the way, you know how we've thrown shade at Will Ospreay for his like high pitched shrieking?
Mm-hmm.
Balor has this way of making noise that is somehow worse.
Oh, well, I know. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's got to go. Maybe it's like a British Isles thing. I don't know.
It's you know what it is. You know what it reminds me of.
If Seven starts doing it, you know, we'll know. But like,
you know what it is. You know what it reminds me of, and this is terrible because I love this moment. But I've talked many times about. Oh, come on, Adam. Why you got to burst my bubble like that? Come on. Terrible. But if you recall the night of TLC 2015 when Roman Reigns speared Triple H through the floor, and we had that awful fucking like guttural groan sound that Triple H made when the camera was zoomed in on his face, it made my skin crawl. But, only amplified my enjoyment of Roman Reigns utterly destroying anything and everything in sight that much more. Balor's groans remind me of that, but in a not awesome way. It's like...
Yeah, they need to stop.
Yeah, it's just that inflection of just like, ugh, like, that's not a normal sound that a human being makes, and you can tell that it's not, like,
it's
a natural reaction to what, is quote-unquote pain.
That's bad. Will Ospreay's like shrieking is really bad. Like, okay.
Oh, speaking of shrieking, one last thing about my match of the week.
Sure.
One last thing about my match of the week. If you're going to watch that Manami Toyota versus Aja Kong match, do not watch it with the volume turned up to the point where your neighbors might be able to hear, because the sounds of my Manami Toyota screaming in pain when Aja Kong has her in the Boston Crab will probably make your neighbors think that you're torturing people in your apartment.
Yeah, the police will be knocking on your door.
Yeah, advance warning. That's just make sure you all know. But yeah. Anyway, continue.
Let's talk about Asuka and Carmella. Chris. My expectations for this match were on the floor. I put the bar, the metaphorical bar that you have to hurdle for this match.
Yep. It's
on the floor.
It's literally on the floor.
And it's somehow like
these
went below.
Burrowed
the ground sucked the bar.
Yep, they burrowed underneath the damn thing and just shoveled their way back out the other side. I believe it.
Let's talk about why did Asuka allow Ellsworth to take her off her game for the second pay-per-view in a row?
Because now that they don't have to protect her, they can make her look like every other dumb foreigner that they've wanted to book in that way. Yep.
Dumb.
Yep.
We'll get back to that in the main event.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah. Now that the streak is gone, they can make her look as stupid as they want, and I'm sure that they've wanted to for quite a while because of what her ring gear looks like and how her hair is styled and all that other crap.
Even putting aside all the nonsense with the cage and Ellsworth hanging from the cage and the employees and all that, this match sucked. Carmella is so afraid to get hit by Asuka that there are spaces you could drive a truck between Asuka strikes and Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking tragedy. It's a Greek tragedy that somebody so talented is stuck with Carmella and James Ellsworth, who are bad. They're bad, Chris. They're not good.
Yeah, no.
3 months ago,
unequivocally, these are factual statements. By the way,
these are not opinions. These are the bad wrestlers.
And Carmella can be as shady and stupid as she wants to be on Twitter, that doesn't change the fact that she is objectively bad at her job.
She's a bad in-ring wrestler. Like, there's no, I don't think that's not a hot take.
Yeah.
You know? 3 months ago, we were all saying Asuka should wrestle Ronda Rousey at the WrestleMania main event next year. Right? That was, now she's selling for James Ellsworth. Chris, I mean, I know nothing matters and nothing is important, and they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars from TV rights. And what does it matter that they can't make a star to save their life? And let me tell you, my friend, okay, and if you people, and I'm talking to everybody listening, you, me, everybody listening, and if all of you think Io Shirai or Keith Lee or whatever other indie darling that this company snaps up is immune to the same fate that Asuka is being put through, you're either oblivious or willfully naive. Yeah. Keith Lee ain't saving the day. Io Shirai ain't saving the day. Adam Cole ain't saving the day.
I mean,
they're not. They're just
not. Already had the people who we thought could save the day come up and immediately get sent to the fucking wood chipper.
They're not.
We just 5 minutes ago, Andrade Cien Almas.
They're not. Johnny Gargano ain't saving the day.
Hell no.
Let's talk about the best 3 minutes on this show. This was actually legit great.
Okay.
Shinsuke Nakamura punches Jeff Hardy in the dick before the bell rings, hits him with the knee, wins the match in 15 seconds.
6 seconds, according to Wikipedia.
6 seconds. You know? Randy Orton then comes out and also kicks Shinsuke Nakamura, or kicks Jeff Hardy in the dick. I feel like I should hate this, but it was actually kind of great. Nak uses the ball punch of doom, and people, you're gonna want to start wearing a cup when you're wrestling Shinsuke Nakamura. It's been a year. Seriously. It's been 3 months. That's on you, man. Yeah. If you're wrestling Dick Punch Nakamura and you get hit in the dick, that's your own dumb fault.
Yep.
You know? So I did kind of want to
guys out there, listen. This rule applies in more than one area of life.
Yeah.
Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Yes. Can confirm.
Can confirm.
Randy Orton just stomped Jeff Hardy in the balls and walked off. Kind of crazy. I liked it. Whatever. Sure, fine, great, whatever.
Madeline, you're absolutely right, by the way. Yeah, having Asuka look dumb for a champion who can't even generate or hold her own heat is pretty fucking terrible. Yeah.
It's no good.
In every damn way. Every way.
Let's talk about Kevin Owens versus Braun. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens isn't the heel here. He was placed into a cage match with the workplace bully. And just when he thought he was able, the workplace bully who dumped literal shit on him in a porta potty. And just when he thought he was going to escape, he was thrown from the top of the cage through a table on the floor. You know? The only thing of real note here was the batshit crazy Mick Foley bump that Kevin Owens taken. Don't do that. I know it was a crash pad. Homeboy could have missed the crash pad and it could have been a real bad day. You know? You don't need this shit. 2018. We don't need this. All right?
Yeah.
You know? I felt bad for Kevin Owens here. All he wanted to do was run away from the man who tried to murder him in a porta potty. But Kurt Angle decides to lock him and Braun in a cage. The best part, more wacky WWE commentary. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Cage locks. Jonathan Coachman says, nowhere for Kevin Owens to run.
Except over the top of the fucking cage.
Kevin Owens starts trying to run away. Literally 3 seconds after the guy says, nowhere for Kevin Owens to run now. The guy, runs away. So Braun starts, trash-talking Owens and saying, your shirt says fight Owens fight, but you're a coward. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin Owens just starts fighting back. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, my shirt does say fight Owens fight. It gives me magical powers. I'm going to fight back now. Okay. You know? I like Braun Strowman. I think he's funny. I think he's charismatic. I think the list of people who could have made that Nicholas segment of WrestleMania work is vanishingly small.
Yeah.
And he made it work.
Yes.
You know?
Shockingly.
But I am just about done with wacky monster Braun Strowman. I think we kind of run our course here.
Enough already. Just put it away.
Two awful bumps from Kevin Owens. Madeline's right. Welcome back, Madeline. By the way,
yes.
good to see you.
Lovely to have you here. Lovely to have all of you here. Sal as well.
Full house today. I like it. But like, he broke free of the handcuffs. Like, okay, whatever. Whatever. Braun Strowman exists in this wacky ass world where he does Braun Strowman stuff, and he's big and he's funny and he's a good wrestler and he's over and whatever. Sure, fine. He's got the briefcase. Gonna win the title. Fine. Sooner or later. Fine. Great. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I'm starting to be like, okay, what is next in the Braun Strowman story? Because him just killing people, while fun, like I saw it with Roman Reigns. It was great. But I don't need to keep seeing it with other people who aren't as good as Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and Matt's absolutely right. Again, he made the mistake of actually making people care about WWE's dumbass bullshit.
Yeah, he's too good.
He's
Daniel Bryan.
He's actually good at his job, and therefore he is going to suffer for it.
Just like Daniel Bryan and Kane made Team Hell No work, so he got Team Hell No for like 2 years.
Yeah. Speaking of Team Hell No.
Oh, that's next. Nice segue.
Yeah.
The Daniel Bryan Dream Match Series rolls on, Chris.
Is this really, though? Is this really? I mean, let me be perfectly clear here. I was perfectly fine when we had Daniel Bryan versus Harper on SmackDown. That's a match that's a dream match for me. That's an awesome singles match in any other company in the world. In WWE, it's a fucking shit show, and then the tag team match that follows is a fucking shit show. Oh, and speaking of the Bludgeon Brothers, also, my sympathies go out to Eric Rowan, the latest victim of WWE hacking and having private photos of himself leaked to the public.
Poor guy.
If you do that, you're a scumbag. I mean, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. If you participate in leaking people's photos, if you partake in viewing people's leaked photos, you're a scumbag who invades people's privacy. So stop it. Anyway.
Let's talk about Daniel Bryan having to work the beginning part of this match on his own because Kane was taken out backstage.
Yeah.
Kane was limping, had the 50-year-old soon-to-be next mayor of a city cosplaying as a wrestler.
Who would have guessed?
Had an avenue to do the job, but Bryan did the job even though he was healthy.
Because Daniel Bryan,
This is the new reality of Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
Let me tell you the new reality of Daniel Bryan and the new reality of the WWE. You ready, Chris?
Yep.
No matter however you are, it don't matter if the big man doesn't like you.
Yep.
You can have 1 billion fans all over the world, but if the 70-year-old man up top doesn't like you, he can ruin your career.
And he will.
But, my friend, due to the status of the WWE, 10 new wrestlers sign up every day thinking, I can change the status quo. You can't. Take the money. I'm never going to tell a man or woman not to take the money. Take the money.
Take the fucking money.
Be like Roman.
The money is good.
Checks.
Take the money. Support your family. Just don't expect to look good.
Just walk into this company with eyes wide open. That's all I'm saying.
And I am certain that we're going to talk a little bit about WWE or about NXT's new class next week. We're going to talk more about them next week, but I am certain that there are at least 2 people from that group who are walking with eyes wide open.
As long as, again, if you want to work in the WWE and you want to make way more money and not have to hustle and book your own shit and sell T-shirts and armories. And I'm never going to tell a man or woman they should not do that. Yeah. Because this business is brutal and your career is short and you should make and if that is your goal, if your goal is to get in and get out with as much money in your bank account as possible, I'm never going to say to someone that they're full of shit for that.
Know that check is going to clear, just like Adam said, which is more than you can say for some companies.
100%. But just as long as you know that you ain't changing anything, and hey, to some people the money matters, and to some people other things matter. And as long as just know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Lashley versus Roman Reigns.
Wait, what is there anything even notable about this freaking
card
tag team match?
Not really.
Okay.
Why are we protecting Kane? Do you want the Bludgeon Brothers to win, but Kane was right there? Have him lose? He has an out. He was attacked backstage and was walking with a limp.
Apparently, there's some sources saying that he actually was legit injured before.
Then have him take a pin. Like,
have it be like this is a match that certainly did not need to be 8 minutes.
No.
Have it be a 3-minute match and have him take the fucking pin.
Yep.
Not that hard.
And then shuffle back off to Tennessee.
Yep.
Let's talk about Lashley versus Roman Reigns. Let's talk about the fact that these two guys had a pretty great feud on Monday Night Raw for about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
An intense feud where they're going at each other. They're throwing hands. They're sparring verbally. This is a good feud.
Yeah.
Nothing says an intense rivalry like a headlock, Chris.
Yep.
Let's talk about the agent thing. The problem number one with this company. The agents of this company who put together the matches, I think, are almost as big, if not as big a problem as the overall creative of this company.
Undoubtedly.
They have no idea how to tell a story or how to build drama. A lot of matches are just finisher kick-out fests because that's what we do now, and we do rest spots. Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley should not be headlocking each other. They should be clawing and fighting and scrapping to obliterate each other, to wipe each other off the face of the earth. There's no rest holds involved there, Chris. Right? Yep. That's not on Roman or Lashley. They're doing what they're told. They're actors in a role.
Yes.
I want to be perfectly clear. That's on Jamie Noble and Devon Dudley and Arn Anderson and all these other relics of the past who don't understand how modern professional wrestling works.
Damn fucking straight.
Okay? It's just, there's no structure to these matches. It's just guys and ladies doing stuff.
Yep.
And then you watch NXT and you say, wow, they get the simple shit right. And it feels like the wrestling that I used to watch, and I'm really happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Let's talk about, the match was fine. This was probably the second best match in the show. It was the second best match in the show. It was a little long. I think you could have gotten in and out in about 10 minutes. I think it went, 14? Something like that, right? You got it open in front of you?
Yeah. 14:50.
Yeah, you could have gotten in and out in like 10 or 11. But I'm not, I mean, 3 minutes, whatever. You know, it wasn't a match of the year or anything. Let's not. It was fine. It was a fine match. It was 3 1/4 maybe. You know,
yep.
perfectly fine, acceptable professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beginning of Monday Night Raw because it involves Roman and Lashley.
Okay.
All right. On Raw next week, as in 3 days from now, these two are having a rematch with the winner facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the championship.
Yep.
So why the fuck did we have this match in the first place? Okay. They set up let's walk through the history of this match. They set up a multi-man match at Extreme Rules to determine Brock's opponent. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the match was canceled. Then they had Reigns versus Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules, which was not for the spot against Brock Lesnar. Then it was for the spot against Brock Lesnar. Then it wasn't for the spot against Brock Lesnar. Then Roman Reigns loses clean as a sheet. And then next week they're wrestling again for a title shot. Chris, I'm watching WCW here.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about the story.
Bischoff, where are you? You can come out behind the curtain now.
I watched about half an hour Raw before I hit myself in the head with a shovel and passed out because I could not take it.
I'm sorry, but I'm picturing
you're fine.
It actually is kind of funny.
You're fine. So here's the story. Okay. The story is Roman thinks Brock is Vince's boy while Roman has to earn everything. Okay. But Roman loses clean as a sheet at WrestleMania. And he gets the only other title match at the Rumble, which he also loses. They then retcon that he loses because of the referee, but he loses. Then last night he loses clean as a sheet to a guy who wants a title shot, but is now given another chance to wrestle for a title shot. Chris, the only way any of this makes any sense is if it's revealed that Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon are actually working together to get Roman Reigns the belt.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the beginning of Raw before I hit myself in the head with a belt?
It hurts to say that, but you're actually right.
The only way this makes sense.
It's awful.
Is given what I told you, right? Either they're breathtakingly incompetent, which is very possible, or Vince and Roman are in cahoots.
Madeline does bring up a good point, though. Roman is so far the only person who's managed to make Lashley look good, which is like you might as well topple.
Yeah, Lashley's been no damn good. This match
might as well topple Mount Everest with your bare fucking hands.
Yeah, Lashley's been a wild disappointment since leaving TNA.
Yep.
So let's talk about Raw real quick, and then we'll continue with our rundown of Extreme Rules. Bunch of guys come out to challenge for the red belt. Fine. Whatever. Here's the list of guys who come out. So Kurt Angle and Paul Heyman are talking. Angle says, Brock's got to wrestle at SummerSlam. I'm stripping him the belt. Who's he going to wrestle? Obviously, this is over the course of like half an hour.
Paraphrasing. Yeah.
So 6 guys come out. You ready? Ready for these names?
Oh, I can't wait.
I don't know. Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
McIntyre. Seth Rollins. Elias. Roman Reigns. Finn Balor. Okay. Of those 6 guys, 2 won their matches last night, or the night before. 2 lost their matches the night before. And Elias and Drew did not wrestle.
Right.
Chris, when we talk about wins and losses not mattering, this is what we mean.
Yep.
Oh, even better. This is when I could take no more. So they go to a backstage segment. And Baron Corbin says, I want a title shot. And do you know what Kurt Angle says? You don't deserve one because you lost last night.
Yeah.
So did Roman Reigns. So did Seth Rollins. But they're getting title shots.
Yep.
But what the fuck? Like, okay, Kurt Angle is just kind of trolling. Okay. But, like, guys, the internal consistency that this show is booked around is a disaster. I know they do a lot of stupid things. But how do they do the angle where they have Angle, pun intended, tell Corbin he doesn't deserve a title shot because he lost? Like a minute after booking 2 guys who lost and 2 guys who weren't even on the card in title shots.
Yep.
Like, the only way this makes sense is if there is a higher power. If there is a higher power behind Roman Reigns.
I mean, Madeline does
a higher on-screen power.
Yeah, Madeline does bring up a good possibility. If it was Stephanie and Triple H obsessed with having Roman side with them, so they, were appealing to Vince for it. And as I said there as well, that could work. If the 2 of them showed the fuck up at any point in time, they don't. So it's like, what's even the point?
Yeah, give me something. That's it.
Anything.
You got to give me a little connective tissue. But they're just kind of like, I love that. These 6 guys, 2 of them who lost last night, 2 of them who won last night, and 2 of them who didn't even wrestle last night. You're all in the matches to determine the number 1 contender. Sure, fine, whatever.
But the 7th dude who also lost last night is not more deserving than one of the 2
because he lost last night.
Is not more deserving than one of the 2 dudes that didn't even bother showing up for the show.
Yeah.
Or to compete on the show, I should say.
Yeah. How about Alexa beating Nia Jax? Best part of this match was the 2 heels overcoming the 3 baby faces.
Wait, 3 baby faces?
Yeah, Nia, Natty, and Ronda.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ronda was sitting there
ringside and jumped the railing.
With her terrible fucking braid.
This match was a clusterfuck in the best way. Alexa, smartest person in wrestling, took 1 major bump. Yeah. Girl, the smartest person in wrestling is Brock Lesnar for getting millions of dollars for doing nothing because Vince wants him to do nothing.
Yeah.
The second smartest person in wrestling is Alexa Bliss. The smartest person is Brock for booking an angle or convincing the boss that I shouldn't be there, or getting the boss to tell him not to show up. Vince is saying, Brock, don't come to Raw this week. And Brock's like, okay, sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Brock, take a vacation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Brock's no-showing. But that's the smartest guy in wrestling, the guy making millions of dollars to sit at home in Canada. The second smartest person is Alexa Bliss, who takes no bumps, except for in this match. So, the best part of this match was when the referee was scolding Bliss and Mickie James for their tactics. That's good refereeing, even though we can't disqualify him because it's an Extreme Rule match. Yep. I like when my referees at least try to keep order. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. No sarcasm. I like that.
Show some effort. Yeah.
Yeah. Show some effort. You know, couldn't really stop them, so he was just voicing displeasure.
Yep.
You know.
Whatever. A stern wag of the finger.
Yeah, I like that. At least I'm always in for that.
Yeah.
Nia Jax was the fourth most important person in this match behind Ronda, Alexa, and Mickie James.
Sure.
I guess Nia was more important than Natty Neidhart, so she got that going for her.
I mean, that's not to say much, but you know.
Clusterfuck in the best way. Actually, not even the best way, just a clusterfuck.
Yep.
Let's talk about AJ Styles beating Rusev Day. First few minutes were slow, then it picked up a lot. There were some cool near falls.
Mm-hmm.
There was also some WWE dumb heel tropes. You're not going to believe this, man, but the bigger man ran exposed into a turnbuckle. I know that never happens.
No.
First match of the night that actually told cool story. AJ gets the calf crusher in for a while, and while Rusev doesn't tap, his leg is so beat up he can't lock in the accolade properly.
Right.
Cool. I'm with you. That's a cool story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, odds are AJ came up with it. But hey, cool, whatever. Good story. I approve. Yep. Out of desperation, Aiden English pulls a turnbuckle pad to try and help Rusev, only for Rusev to run into it himself and lose the forearm.
Yep.
3.5. Match of the night. Sure, fine.
That's a sad state of affairs when that's the match of the night. But
match of the night, 3.5. Yeah, not a match of the year, not even a match of the month, but on a show like this, man, you take what you can get.
Yeah.
All three guys did their jobs well. Let's talk about this Iron Man match main event.
Oh my God. This was what I saw.
You know why I hate Iron Man matches?
Tweets about, by the way.
Yeah. You know, there's one simple reason why I hate most Iron Man matches, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's say they're 30 minutes long. You're telling the crowd that anything before minute 27 doesn't matter.
Yep.
So the crowd's going to fuck around. You know? If you're going to have a long-ass match, don't put a time limit on it where the match definitely ends at this time limit. You want to do like what Omega and Okada did, where if he doesn't get the win before 30 minutes, he's screwed? Great. Cool. You know? Different story. But there was 7 falls in 15 minutes. That doesn't make sense given everything else we saw tonight.
Yeah.
Roll-ups, which hadn't worked all night, worked in this match.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I can do long shows. I watch Wrestle Kingdom every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know? The G1 Finals is going to be like a 4-hour show. Right?
Yeah.
But I need the show to be engaging.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like WWE tropes, this is your match, man. The babyface is down with a few minutes in overtime. Let's talk about the second problem with WWE booking. The first problem is the agenting. The second is dumbass babyfaces.
Oh, so many dumbass babyfaces.
Here's what I mean. So they're tied, right? Yep. Dolph Ziggler leaves the ring and attempts to leave the arena mid-match because he don't want to be there anymore. We've already established that there's a count-out in this match. If Dolph Ziggler leaves the arena and leaves the ring and leaves the arena, he will get counted out.
Mm-hmm.
This helps Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Instead of Seth standing there and taking the count-out, he's a dumbass. So he chases Dolph Ziggler down because he's a dumbass. One of the many problems with this company, my friend, is that baby faces are booked to be complete and total morons. Why should I get behind you for the chase if you're too stupid to figure out the best way to win a match? If you're too dumb to realize that if this man's leaving, you could take the count out and win a fall, which is good in an Iron Man match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what agency do you have? Why should I get behind you if you're too dumb to figure that out? If you're Asuka and you're so dumb that you ignore Carmella to go after James Ellsworth, who's hanging there by his leg, can't bother you. Well, shit, if you're that dumb, why should I believe in you?
Mm-hmm.
The baby faces in this company are presented to be dumbasses.
Yep.
Like, that's a problem, man. That's not. I'm not asking you to be a Rhodes Scholar.
And this also
either Dusty, either Cody or Damian Sandow, either member of the Rhodes Scholars. I'm not asking you to be either member of the Rhodes Scholars, but I'm asking you to just apply a little common sense.
And let's also be clear here. This is we're talking about this being a trope. It is probably the most prevalent trope that we get in this company. This is not an isolated incident. This is not even an uncommon incident. This happens all the fucking time.
Baby faces with dumbasses. Up and down the board.
Yeah. You want to know like the starkest contrast between NXT and WWE? You just need to look at how NXT's baby faces were booked versus how they're booked when they get to the main roster. None worse than Bayley, for the record. But it is without a doubt every single one of them. And you can be as excited as you want for Johnny Gargano to make his way up to the main roster and be the guy that starts steering the ship on 205 Live. You can be as excited as you want about that. It doesn't change the fact that at some point,
and 205 Live is a good show, as I've talked about.
But at some point, he is going to be made to look like the dumbest fucking asshole that there ever was. Because that's just what Vince McMahon likes doing with his baby faces, because he likes shitting on his crowds for liking things.
Feud of the year is WWE versus their audience.
Yep, that's been the feud of the year for the past 4 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was Extreme Rules. It sucked. It was no good. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
You owe me.
I do.
You owe me. I'm going to collect sooner or later.
I owe you about 17 times. Yep.
What did Marlon Brando say to The Undertaker and The Godfather? One day, and this day may never come, I will call upon you to do a favor for me.
Yes. I will. And I will.
All right. I've been talking a long time. You talk for a little bit. What's next? This show sucked.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. It was bad. This company these wrestlers deserve better. They're so talented.
Yeah. Well, let's stick with WWE. We'll talk about something that, on principle, should be good, but if we follow the tenets of history, is likely to be fucked up in some manner or another. Let's talk about the second Mae Young Classic, which has officially been announced and will be taking place at Full Sail University. It will be filmed on August 8th.
Oh, ladies and gents, we are a spoiler-free show. So if you're asking why we're not talking about anything that happened at the NXT tapings, that is one of our long-standing rules.
Yeah.
We're spoiler-free.
We are not going to talk about anything
from,
at the tapings. From the NXT tapings that happened.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that. Go on.
But we have our first 9 contestants, or 10. Actually, 10. It is 10, yes. Our first, let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Our first 10 contestants for the Mae Young Classic have been announced officially. And we start off with a bang as former NXT Season 3, I want to say, champion and former Divas champion Caitlyn, real name Celeste Bonin, is coming back to WWE and will be presumably the headliner, the biggest name to be competing in the Mae Young Classic. I'm going to be announcing these in the chronological order that they appeared also, so bear with me on that. But she is the most recognizable name at the very least for WWE fans. She will be making her return to the ring for the first time since she left the company in 2014. Second,
I was in her best match against A.T. Lee in Chicago.
Yeah, she wasn't ever really bad. She was just kind of forgettable at times.
Yeah,
but I think that she will be much better now. Most presumably because they probably will not have her wearing some of those insanely stupid ring outfits that they had her wear. And it seems like she also may have gotten her implants removed. So good on her if that's going to help her compete better. Second announcement, returning for the second year in a row, Rhea Ripley from Australia, who I am exceptionally excited about. Girl is only 21 years old and is already a breakout star. Phenomenal in-ring competitor. 6 feet tall, kicks like a fucking horse. and she's incredible. I'm looking forward to see her do more this year than she did last year. She got eliminated in the second round last year by Dakota Kai. I'm expecting her to do more, and that this is going to be the start of her presumably appearing more frequently on NXT TV, since she has spent a year on the Florida house show circuit and has consistently been a name that has been talked about by a lot of people. Third, George, are you ready to get wiggly?
I am.
Japanese phenom Io Shirai.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah.
I know that name.
Announced as signed at a WWE live event in Tokyo. Made an appearance for the crowd. Is official. She is part of the NXT roster. And she is expected to be one of the top competitors in the whole thing. I would not be surprised if she wins the whole thing. Yeah, I know WWE is not likely to have a Japanese star win the event 2 years in a row, but we are talking about the best women's wrestler on the entire planet. One of the top 3, regardless of gender, on the entire planet. You can't tell me that she is not a favorite to win the whole thing. You just can't. Also announced another recent Performance Center signee, someone who may be a bit of a wild card. Former American Ninja Warrior winner, Kacy Catanzaro, will be making her debut in the second Mae Young Classic. She doesn't have any previous in-ring experience, but WWE signed her because of her extreme athleticism, so it should be interesting to see how she's adapted and how she's learned while at the Performance Center. Next, an alternate from last year's Mae Young Classic. The Canadian Ninja herself, the Shimmer Taker, Nicole Matthews.
Great nickname.
I love Nicole Matthews. She is spectacular. And she's finally going to get her chance to shine. I am definitely looking forward to that. She's amazing. And fans are gonna enjoy the hell out of her because she's got a lot of personality. She's your kind of girl. She's got that personality down pat, and she knows how to make you hate her very easily.
Very essential.
Yeah. Next up, another person who knows how to make you hate her, who you're gonna love because I don't think you've ever seen her, or if you have, it's been pretty sparingly. The fashionista herself, the Queen Ginny, is making her debut.
I know Ginny.
She's the current Progress Women's Champion and the first female graduate of Progress's wrestling school. And
great character work.
Character work. And does a Styles Clash almost as good as the man himself. And is definitely going to make a mark. I'm excited for what she's going to be doing. And I expect she's going to be a pretty essential competitor on NXT UK, so I expect her to go pretty far in this tournament as well. Next, another name that I am very happy to see signed in NXT, the virtuosa Diana Purrazzo, also an alternate from last year's Mae Young Classic, has developed into one of the best technical wrestlers on the women's side in the world. The Fujiwara armbar specialist. She's going to be breaking some arms, and I'm looking forward to it. I've always loved her work, and I think she's going to make a big splash. I think that they're going to use this as a way to kind of retcon out her previous NXT appearances that she had from a couple of years ago and really make her out to be a threat. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in the ring, especially with some of the talent that she's got lined up against her. Next, someone who was supposed to be a big star from last year's Mae Young Classic, but who was unfortunately sidelined due to injury for much of the year. The young Miss Tegan Knox, who you may know better by her old name, Nixon Newell.
Oh, I do know that name.
Finally going to be making her in-ring debut here for the WWE Network. The girl with the shiniest wizard. She'll kick you in the face and you'll love her for it. She's incredible. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with her because she is another young star with an insanely bright future. Next up, Jessie Elabon, who has been part of the Florida house show circuit for quite some time as well. Not again, not somebody who has a lot of previous in-ring experience, but she's really made her mark. She's a whole grain babyface is the best term I can put for her. Her character work, is from what I've seen from the Florida house shows, is unique, and I expect they're going to make her a lot of fun to watch. And she's got some pretty interesting moves in her arsenal from what I've seen as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got. She's got, I believe she also has a gymnastics background as well, so she has a lot of flexibility going for her that has helped her in developing a very interesting in-ring style. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with her. And finally, another person making their return to the Mae Young Classic after appearing last year, Reina Gonzalez, who was part of last year's Mae Young Classic, also did not go very far, lost to Nicole Savoy in the first round. But she's going to be coming back again for the second round of the Mae Young Classic and looks to go a little bit further. Tall, powerhouse. She's got a lot going for her, so hopefully they will give her a chance to show a little bit more of what she can do. And those are our first 10 competitors out of the 32 that are going to be participating.
Do we have dates yet?
August 8th and 9th is the date that it will be filmed.
About a month, okay.
Yep, at Full Sail.
Were there surprise entrants last year, or was all 32 announced?
All 32 were announced. I believe that there were a couple who were supposed to, like a few like Nixon Newell who were supposed to participate and then were sidelined due to injury. But like Nixon was never actually officially announced, and I can't recall anyone who was officially announced and then had to be pulled. So as far as I know, there won't be any surprise entrants, but you have to assume that there's going to be some more from the current crop of NXT talent who will also be appearing. And there are a number of other international names that are heavily speculated to be part of this year's tournament, the most notable of which is Meiko Satomura. She is pegged already for participation in the tournament, and multiple sources are saying she will be part of it, but nothing is confirmed by WWE as of yet. But if she's part of it, that elevates the tournament even further, because she also another one of the best in the world, another veteran with tons of experience in the ring, and someone who will bring a lot of legitimacy to the tournament on an international level. So bear that in mind and be ready for that. And if there are any more announcements of participants, and if any official announcements come from NXT TV in the next week, we will, of course, have more of those next week. I'm excited personally. I think that this year's Mae Young will very likely.
I was about to ask, you think it'll be better than last year's?
I think it's very likely to be better than last year's. I think that last year they definitely brought in a very talented group, but I feel like they were also I feel like they were hamstrung a bit by matchmaking last year, and that some of the matches were like once you got past the first round, it was seemingly pretty easy to predict how the rest of the tournament would go. I'd say the only person out of the four that appeared in the semifinals that I was surprised to see in the semifinals was Mercedes Martinez. I think that if they can do a little bit better job of mixing up the field this year, and maybe if they don't have people play the alignments that they are expected to be played right out the gate, I think that they'll definitely be able to shake up the field quite nicely. I think that the biggest thing that they could do to shake up the field would be to have Io Shirai come in as a heel. If they have her come in as a heel,
that'll be tough because she's going to come in as the conquering hero.
Yeah,
it may be tough to get heel heat from that crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the only way that they could have,
has she ever played a heel?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. When she turned on Mayu Iwatani in Stardom and started Queen's Quest, they started out as a heel stable. They were very much a heel stable. It was only when Oedo Tai made their big return in Stardom that Queen's Quest kind of started to straddle the line and become tweeners more than straight out heels. But she's always had that arrogant streak to her. She's always had that arrogant streak, and it came out in full force after she turned on Mayu and really started to grow in that second title reign. So I would say that it's going to take a big step for them to do that. Something akin to what they had Pete Dunne do in the first UK tournament. where if she starts attacking people before the tournament even begins and stuff like that, that might go a long way. But it would require her to attack somebody who has also got equal level of clout, which doesn't leave a lot of openings. Like she would have to go after someone like Tegan Knox or maybe Jesse right out the gate. And I honestly don't know that they necessarily would do that because, I mean, they already have a bunch of natural heels already in the field in the form of Jitty and Nicole Matthews. So, I don't know. But regardless, playing with alignments a little bit, maybe creating some unexpected matchups, making the brackets not look quite as clear-cut would go a long way to helping this tournament be even better than last year's. It may just end up being better than last year's on sheer match quality alone, because some of the first-round matches from last year were kind of subpar. But we'll see. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. So, having covered that, let us move on to one of our favorite subjects, the G1.
Yes, the Grade 1 Climax.
Indeed, the Grade 1 Climax 2018. We have had 4 nights of competition so far in this year's Grade 1 Climax. And these standings, do we want to go through all 4 nights, or do we just want to go through the standings?
Go through the standings. It's what, 9:20? Yeah, go through the standings.
All right. Let's go through
I talked an hour on that fucking pay-per-view. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, dude. We need to give that pay-per-view the tarring that it deserves.
Like, last thought on the WWE, like, you go back and you watch like old WWF from like '94 when the roster sucked. Like, you're like, oh, this show sucks because these wrestlers suck. But you watch it nowadays, you're like, this show sucks in spite of the fact that these wrestlers are awesome.
Yeah,
that's what's amazing to me, So. And I mean, it's like you have world-class produce and world-class meat and fish, and a cook who doesn't know what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
Like, man, hey cook, man, I'm sourcing you the best ingredients all over the world. Mm-hmm. I'm flying to the ends of the earth for these onions. They're the best onions in the world.
Yep.
The best beef from Kobe or whatever. And
you're throwing it in a fucking deep fryer.
Yeah, it's like, basically. What are we doing? So, all right, G1. Talk to me, Chris.
All right, so
Grade 1 Climax.
Through the first 4 nights of competition that we've had so far, the standings are as follows.
Can I take my victory lap on Jay White? Jay White with
I was with you on that one.
And you were with me. So we should be dual victory lap.
Yeah, we're taking our victory lap together.
No, Jay White beating Okada.
Yeah.
Beating Tanahashi I did not see, but he's winning this block, man. Because
I might have to take the L on that one, thinking that Tanahashi was going to win the block, but
I don't know. But like he's 2-0, Elgin's 2-0, and I think they're wrestling like tomorrow night, right?
And Makabe is 2-0.
Makabe ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
but White and Elgin are wrestling like tomorrow or Saturday, right? Like soon.
If literal human garbage beats Jay White, I'm gonna rage.
I think he may. Right now. No, I don't know. No. Because like Jay White has already beaten Okada and Tanahashi, whereas Elgin has beaten Hangman Page and someone else who's not very good. I don't remember off the top of my head.
No, he beat Evil.
Yeah, so sorry.
He's very good.
But I mean, I'm talking main event, big upper top of the card guys.
Yeah, that's true.
So Jay White, even though Jay White and Elgin are tied, Jay White's got the hard parts of his schedule done. Jay White's got the hard part. It's like a college football team. Even though we're tied in the standings, I've already beaten Alabama, and you still have to play Alabama. Therefore, I'm ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, Mike Elgin still has to wrestle Okada. Mike Elgin still has to wrestle Tanahashi. Like, Jay White, I'm talking that Jay White doesn't. He's already beaten those guys. He's gotten those wins in the bank. Jay White's winning this block. He's winning the block, and I like the
last big thing that he's got left is Suzuki.
That's
which
the last one. I am.
Actually, I don't know about that. Like, I mean, because as much as we want to call it like it is, you can't immediately count out Fale.
I was about to say, I'm liking this angle where all the Tongans help each other out in spite of the wins and losses.
Yep.
Like
I'm gonna have to take the L also on Tama Tonga winning.
They're advancing. The Tama Tonga cares more about his brothers than he does about the G1.
Yeah,
that's what this is telling me. And you know what? It is a return to the Bullet Club roots of heavy interference.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
The Prince Devitt and Carl Anderson Bullet Club of heavy interference, and your brothers matter more than the titles. And your brothers matter more than the women. And your brothers matter more than the accolades. And your brothers matter more than changing the world. And your brothers matter more than the elite, and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. You know? Like, I'm very happy with the return to the roots that is the Tama Tonga and Bad Luck Fale versions of this, runs in the G1 so far.
Yeah.
The matches have not been great, but we knew that was to be expected, especially in Fale's case.
Yeah.
But I am admiring the story, and I'm willing to let it play out. You know, so we'll see what happens when Tama Tonga wrestles Omega, right?
Yep.
That's also like this weekend.
I believe so.
So big test.
Let me pull the schedule up. I'll pull the
schedule up. What are we looking forward to the next?
Let's run through the standings. Let's finish running through the standings. So Block A, Literal Human Shit, Makabe and Jay White are at the top of the block with 4 points.
Important that there's a comma there. Yeah. Togi Makabe is not Literal Human Shit.
Oh no, Okay, let me actually order that correctly. Jay White, Togi Makabe, and Literal Human Shit are at the top of Block A with 4 points apiece.
Okay, Jay White's in the driver's seat though.
Jay White is absolutely in the driver's seat right now. Evil, Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page, and Hiroshi Tanahashi each are at 1-1, 2 points apiece. And rounding out the bottom of the block, two huge names that you wouldn't expect to be there, and one that you kind of have to be like, okay, yeah, that was to be expected. Minoru Suzuki, Kazuchika Okada, and Yoshihashi, all with 2 losses and 0 points.
Yeah, I would have bought Okada because the whole, Okada is broken without the belt storyline. Yeah. Like you saw in San Francisco, right? He had like balloons and he was wrestling in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
The man is so lost without his championship. I would have bought that he starts 0-2. I would never have bought Minoru Suzuki starting 0-2.
Especially when one of those two was Togi Makabe too.
Yeah. But they've had a good feud though.
Oh, they always have good feuds.
Earlier this year it was a new beginning.
The matches are usually like only fair at best.
Yeah, but it's two guys who are like combined 110 years old or whatever.
Yeah,
and they get it done in the story. Like their match at New Beginning was good.
The storytelling is what gets it done. Exactly.
Yeah, their match at New Beginning was pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With Makabe, with Suzuki throwing that awesome drop kick that I'll always pop for.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There was a reason that the first like 3 months of the year Suzuki was my wrestler of the year, and it was matches like that. Now he has since fallen off that pace a little bit, but like he is not to be trifled with,
Hell no, not a chance. Over on the Block B side, leading the charge at 4 points apiece, unsurprisingly and seemingly headed for an inescapable collision, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
I still say that's going to be a draw.
It almost has to be.
It almost has to be at this point.
Almost has to be. Next, we have a 6-way gridlock at 2 points apiece, featuring Haruki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Sanada, and Tama Tonga. All with 1 win and 1 loss.
Okay.
And rounding
all against each other in some form or fashion.
And rounding out the bottom of the pack, Juice Robinson and Toru Yano with 0 points each.
Not surprising. Yano will pick up a few scalps in this tournament. He always does. By the way, Yano and Sabre was like legit great.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I will say.
They were like actually wrestling.
I will give credit where credit is due. Zack Sabre Jr. and his ability to actually make a Toru Yano match look legit and look amazingly interesting is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Even more so than his boss. Like Suzuki and Yano have their history. Even the two of them can't put together a match the way that Yano and Sabre can. And that is a testament immediately to what Sabre is capable of. The man is a fucking prodigy.
Yeah, he's great.
We've said it many times, and we'll say it many more times in the future. The man is a fucking prodigy.
So what's the next 2 nights of the G1?
All right, let's take a look.
I think Friday and Saturday, correct?
Friday, July 20th, taking place from Karakan Hall, and Saturday, July 21st, also taking place from Karakan Hall. Undercard is undercard, not worrying about that too much. Here's what we have. For tomorrow night, or for like 6 hours from now, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Jay White versus Literal Human Shit.
Okay. The winner is definitely in the driver's seat for the A block.
Yep. Minoru Suzuki versus Yoshihashi. We can expect Minoru Suzuki to pick up his first win here, I would expect.
Uh-huh.
Evil versus Togi Makabe.
That'll be fun. Hot fight.
Right. Yep. A very interesting rematch from last year's G1. Bad Luck Fale versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I'm not betting against Hiroshi Tanahashi having a good match with anybody. Not doing it.
No.
I've been fooled before.
And last year's match was really good too. That's the funny thing about it.
Absolutely,
they made that work. They made that work with the count out victory or the
absolutely. Yep.
It worked so well. And in your main event, Kazuchika Okada versus Hangman Page.
Big match, Page. This is it, man.
Yeah. Time to put up or shut up.
This is probably your most important match ever.
Yeah.
I mean, a main event against the Ace, against the Rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it's the broken Rainmaker, and time for you to show. I mean, this is NFL football, son.
Yeah. There's a reason why your finisher is called Rite of Passage. This is your Rite of Passage.
This is it. Right now. Don't screw up. No pressure.
Yeah. Don't fuck it up, kid.
No pressure, son.
Yep. And on Saturday, we have Kota Ibushi versus Toru Yano.
That'll be fun. They're two fun wrestlers.
Yep. Maybe see some Ibushi DDT stuff. Make an appearance. We'll see. A match that I think might be the show stealer. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sanada.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Then we have Tetsuya Naito versus Juice Robinson.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Then we have the match that will be the storyline match of the night. Kenny Omega versus Tama Tonga.
Yes.
Do we think this match goes more than 2 minutes before Tangaloa and Bad Luck Fale hit the ring and just?
I think the over/under. I think the over/under is 1.5 minutes, and I'm taking the under.
But the only way we get anything over that is if the Bucks and Cody and Paige are all there to like block. I mean,
I could see this being like a no contest, double DQ. Neither guy gets a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And then you're a surprise main event, but should still be excellent.
Or on the flip side, I could see Omega taking the L, a dirty L, and then Tama Tonga getting a title shot at like Power Struggle.
Yep. And then your surprise main event that should still be stellar. A bit of chaos, intra-faction war, as Haruki Goto takes on Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Hoss fight for the ages? I think so.
Ishii always delivers in these.
And Goto has been quite excellent.
Watch Goto Omega?
I did not yet.
It was Omega was going for the Terminator dive. Mm-hmm. He jumps on the top rope, and Goto just throws a chair at his ass. He's like, nah, I'm good. He just chucked, and in the camera, because the camera's centered on Omega, and he's like standing on the rope. He's gonna do like that moonsault off the top rope, you know. Mm-hmm. And he's like balancing and trying to, and it's like, and then all you see is that in the screen, a chair flies in the screen and hits
him. Nice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, it was pretty great. That kind of match.
Yeah, and then we'll cover one more because it's 3 nights in a row. Sunday night,
A block night. 4 of A block, right?
Emanating from Esforta Arena Hachioji in Tokyo.
Okay.
Back to A block.
I've been. It's great. No, I've never been. Yeah, awesome place.
Yeah, back to A block action. We
great sightlines.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. The acoustics are amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. We have Yoshihashi versus Literal Human Garbage. Whatever.
Whatever.
The Haas fight
I've been skip and not feel bad.
The Haas fight I've been waiting for. Bad Luck Fale versus Evil. I'm pretty stoked about that, not going to lie. Next, match that you're probably extremely excited for. I am excited for it as well, but you're probably super excited for this one.
I'm a simple man, Chris.
Then tell me your feelings about Jay White versus Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, that is, you know, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. I'm excited for Jay White to get stretched. Time to get stretched, Jay.
Next, we have Next, we have Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hangman Page. Going through the fire 2 nights in a row is Hangman Page.
Kid, this is your chance, man.
Fuck it up.
Don't screw up, kid.
Yeah. And then finally, your main event, Kazuchika Okada versus Togi Makabe.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's Okada. I mean, even quote broken Okada is still fun.
Yeah, and Makabe will be his, bullish self and yell at Okada a lot, which is fun.
He's smart enough that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So, those are your next 3 nights of G1 action. And, it's still very early in the standings to be able to say who's going to end up where. But it should be it should be quite a lot of fun. Should be quite a lot of fun. And we'll have the coverage of all of it next week. So, sir, shall we get out of here?
We shall. Good show, right. If I may say so.
Indeed, it was. Let us, of course, make sure to direct you to our friends, our compatriots out there in the wrestling podcast universe. First of all, a special announcement from our wonderful friend, Mr. Philip Dawson.
I believe I'm involved in this announcement.
You indeed very may well be. So, Philip Dawson, who you may know from the Dawson Report, he has been taking a little bit of a break from the podcasting realm over the past few weeks. And he will be returning with his special sideshow, Sports Bros Incorporated, with the good brother George, who happens to be right here to my right. Or my left, I guess you could say, if you're looking at the screen there with our avatars.
That's me.
Yes. That will be this Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. 2 hours of World Cup, NBA, NFL, and baseball discussions, plus a little bit of wrestling.
All you shoot sports.
Plus a little bit of wrestling.
There's a Rise show, and there's a Rise or Eve. I don't even remember.
I think it was Rise because
I think it was Rise that Bex was talking about. So I'm gonna let him talk about that because
he was messaging me about it.
He's the only person in the world who likes women's wrestling more than you, and I'm not going to deny him. I'm not going to deny him the opportunity to talk about women's wrestling.
Yes.
So especially Eve, which I'm told is awesome.
Yeah. I believe he's going to be talking about Rise because he messaged me earlier this week saying who let out a black cat at the Rise show because so many freaking people are hurt apparently. Let me actually read the exact content of the DM. Can someone please explain to me what bastard let out a black cat at the recent Rise events and fucking jinxed everyone in that promotion? Delilah Doom, Shotzi Blackheart, Kikio, and Kylie Ray all got injured within 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, no good. So
that's Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning your time, 9 o'clock my time.
Yes, indeed. And it should be a good show. I'm sure that and he apparently Phil will also have some personal updates to discuss. So awesome. He will have some information for you. And as always, of course, our friends, our brethren, Wednesday Night Shooting with Tanya Rogers and Andrew M. Swift, bringing you all the best and all of the most hard-hitting coverage that you can imagine in the wrestling podcast sphere. Talking all WWE and really cutting it down to the barest essentials and telling it like it is. These two are must-listen broadcasting.
Essential.
Do not miss Wednesday Night Shooting. It is always a great time. And Andrew, congrats on making your big return to Twitter as well. Glad to have you back delivering them hot takes.
Yeah, don't let the fuckers bring you down, man.
Yeah, for sure. Also, our good friends over at Los Ingobernables, the podcast, Mr. Dr. Sanju. And
the goodest of good brothers.
Yes. Mr. Dr. Senju and Takers Meaning. It is good to have Mr. Dr. Senju back from vacation finally. If you missed last week's episode, I happened to make a 2-hour late appearance and got to reenact my speech from last week's episode of our show, where I talked about the firing squad making their presence known. Takers Meeting asked me to do a special reenactment, and I did, and it was quite wonderful. So, if you have the time and the inclination, please be sure to check out the Good Brothers at Los Ingobernables de Podcast. And they will be on at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Be sure to check them out. And, of course, also Takers Meeting has Connoisseurs of Wrestling on Sunday nights, recorded at 9 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday that there is not a WWE pay-per-view, alongside Biff Kensington and occasionally also Legends Lover. They will be talking all the old school wrestling and
once in a great while, me.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Since you are quite the scholar yourself, my friend.
I try. I can't keep up with Taker's Minion. He is like super knowledgeable, but
he is
just listening to him and his wife talk about the old days is like one of my favorite things. If you are a new fan of professional wrestling and you want to make up for the lost time that you were not watching this great endeavor, you could do far worse than listening to those three for a crash course.
Yeah, they know their stuff.
They know their stuff, and they will not steer you astray.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Continue, my friend.
Yes, indeed. But you can check them out Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Any Sunday that there's not a WWE pay-per-view, they will have all of the discussion about how the wrestling past relates to the wrestling present and give you all of your good history lessons. So if you have the opportunity, be sure to check them out as well. I didn't give anybody's Twitter handles to follow. I'm bad at this.
That's okay.
For Philip Dawson and the Dawson Report and Sports Bros, you can find him at Philip Bexman. For Wednesday Night Shooting, follow Tanya Rogers at Militia Mellis Joe. Follow Andrew M. Swift at Andrew M. Swift. He keeps it simple for you. For Connoisseurs of Wrestling and for Shooting Debris, Takers Minion is at Takers_Minion. And specifically for Shooting Debris, you can follow Mr. Dr. Senju at MRDR Senju and at their official account, Shooting Debris. That's Shooting Da BREEZ 1. Follow them all, show them all the support if you are able, and continue to support excellent wrestling content created by excellent wrestling content creators. You can follow us on Twitter as well if you feel so inclined, because I think we're kind of excellent somewhere in that sphere.
I'm pretty great. I can't speak for you. No,
yeah, you're quite excellent. I'm
You're okay.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
You can follow us at 2Guys1 Support, number 1 in the handle for all the updates about what's going on with the show and to find out when we're going live. You can also follow me on my personal account at CrazyChris576, and you can follow George on his personal account at Giatsavas. And if you are looking for non-wrestling related content created by yours truly, you can find me over at twitch.tv/CrazyChris576 for all of your video game streaming needs on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in the evenings. Find me over there streaming Borderlands 2 and any other games that strike my fancy. Having good conversations with the people in the chat, and just trying to build a strong community. So if you feel so inclined, would like to see what my face actually looks like, I promise you it's pretty terrible, but that's, your mileage may vary. Come in over, twitch.tv/CrazyChris576 and say hello. And find us also on iTunes if you are not able to catch the live broadcasts.
Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. If you're in the YouTube chat right now, scroll down, click the little thumbs up sign.
Definitely do that. Yes, we do. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. That is also much appreciated. And if you are not able to catch the live broadcast, be sure to go and check us out on iTunes as well. It is in the link below the video in the description. Head on over there to iTunes, subscribe, give us a rating, give us a recommendation. And as always, be sure to recommend to all of your friends in the wrestling sphere to come and check us out on Thursday nights, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, because we love having you all in the chat. We love interacting with you all. You all are amazing people. And we would love to see you back here again. Next week, episode 68, we will have more G1, potentially more Mae Young Classic announcements, and look at the latest class of signings for NXT, and whatever other interesting and exciting news happens during the course of the week. if you guys hear about any news, if you guys hear about any topics that you would like us to discuss, please hit us up on Twitter or in any of our other social media, and let us know what you would like to hear about. Because, you know, we love to talk, as you probably have heard by now. I mean, we've been doing this for 67 episodes. I think we have a pretty good appreciation of the ability to vocalize words. So let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. We'd be happy to cover it for you. And that is all. George, take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, a sincere thank you for listening, for starting your weekend with us. Be good to each other. Be nice to each other. Don't work yourselves into a shoe. That's Chris. I'm George. You're listening to Two Guys, One Sport. Have a great night, everybody.
Episode 67 is in the books.